Welcome to our latest video. This time I want to discuss the benefits of communicating internally with your staff. One of the things that we still see and hear quite a lot is about the kind of communication or lack of communication in organisations, and it's a big frustration for staff. And it's something that I've heard kind of throughout my career in various businesses, and it's something that I have kind of spoken about before. But it's a kind of topic that's coming up more and more, and I've seen it within a few businesses where the business owner is perhaps struggling to kind of manage everything on a day-to-day basis. The business is growing, there's growing pains, the business owner is probably trying to kind of generate new business, manage relationships with customers, generate ideas, manage teams, and communication is something that can sometimes fall by the wayside internally. One of the things that a lot of businesses are good at these days is communicating with their customers or prospective customers, and the marketing's really good. And that's been helped with the use of social media. So we're seeing more companies now using video, they're promoting things on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, etc. So there's a good platform there to communicate with customers or prospective customers. But these same forums are actually available to communicate with your staff and your teams. So I just want to kind of share some of that in this week's episode. So I guess obviously I'm speaking to you at the moment via video, and I'm not sure if that's a forum that you could perhaps consider in your own business to actually communicate with your teams. So you could use video to kind of share important information. I quite often see long-winded emails that get sent out to teams around, various things that are going on. It might be things that you're unhappy with. It might be things that you are happy with that you want to share, and it can be quite a kind of long, detailed email. And quite often people don't read the whole email, and things potentially can get taken out of context in an email. So would it perhaps be a bit more engaging and a bit more effective, and get your message across if you were to try and do a kind of short video and communicate that way with your team? So that might be something that you want to consider as part of your internal communication plans. And again, you could be kind of using that through your internal process that you have. You could upload that to a file. You could share it on your internal communication drives. Whatever you have internally, that's something you could certainly kind of look at. And things that you could be sharing are things like a kind of weekly update. You might want to kind of share information around the business, new customers, key challenges that have taken place. You could be looking at a weekly presentation from a director. You could be looking at changes to operating procedures. There's a whole range of things. You could be using it for training, information that you want to perhaps get across. You could be looking to interview some of your staff actually, and get them to communicate, kind of share or share kind of key challenges that are going on in the business. There's a whole range of things that you could be doing, but the key thing is if you are going to use video, try and keep it kind of short and punchy. Try and kind of make it kind of conversational based, and if you've got a internal kind of marketing department, they can certainly help with all the editing, etc. To kind of make it look a little bit more professional if that's something you want to do. If you don't have that resource, then we kind of use Shannon, our team, who specialises in that area. So the videos that we do, Shannon does all the editing for us and kind of puts that out on social media, etc. So if you're a customer of ours or want to kind of chat more about that, then we'd be happy to kind of share some of kind of Shannon's expertise in that area. Other things that you might want to do, so away from video, is have your own kind of social network kind of channel. So a lot of organisations are kind of doing that these days, a little bit similar to Twitter, for example. So you would be kind of sharing key information very, very quickly and very effectively across the organisation. So that could be an online collaboration tool and a kind of instant messenger tool that you could be using. So that can be quite effective, where certainly if you've got kind of remote teams or people working different shifts and it's difficult to get them all together at the one time, that might be an effective forum for you to use. Other things that I would suggest is regular feedback sessions. So if you're in the habit of doing daily huddles, hold the huddles daily. If it's a weekly update with the team, hold it weekly. If it's a monthly update with the team, hold it monthly. So stick to that. Consistency is key, and the way in which you kind of chair and present these meetings is really important. So build up a rhythm so there is consistency around that. So if it's a weekly update, that's something that we do in our team on a Friday at 3 o'clock, is looking at the challenges for the week ahead. I keep that to a 15-minute update, and it's purely to kind of to discuss key business issues that are taking place. Information I'll share is around information related to customers. So that is in addition to kind of one-to-ones that will take place, but that is purely a weekly feedback session around sharing key challenges for the week ahead, and just kind of sharing these kind of priorities. Some businesses do that daily. Certainly when I worked in retail, there was a daily huddle that took place there. Some stores were better than others at doing it, and the ones that did it consistently and daily were the ones that were getting the better results. So, whatever you decide to do, make sure you follow that up and be consistent. One-to-ones are important as well. So remember, you might have a performance management process, and that's great. However, observational feedback is best. So, if you see something that's good, give them feedback and praise and recognition at that time, so they carry on doing the same things. I've spoken about that before. But likewise, if you need to correct something, give them feedback at that point as well, or as close to that incident as possible, so that they can obviously correct that moving forward. So the face-to-face communication is still hugely important as well. If you can, try and create an open door policy. So that's where people can come and basically chat at your door if they've got an idea, a suggestion, just want to chew the fat, that you've kind of created that culture where people can do that. And remember, as your business grows, you might be a little bit out of touch with what's going on at kind of grassroots level, if you like. So really important to kind of maintain that open door policy, so that you build up that trust. People are going to approach you and are quite comfortable with you on a one-to-one basis. Other things to kind of look at is just how you communicate right across the business. So, there's things around your kind of core values, your company's purpose. I've been doing a lot kind of reading on these topics at the minute. So some people might refer to it as your mission and vision. However, if you do decide that that's something you're going to have, what's the company purpose? Make sure that's kind of shared properly across the business. So your goals and objectives around, what you want to achieve in the next year. If you've got a 3 or 5 year plan, and be really honest and transparent with your staff around it, so they completely understand where the business is going, and you need to kind of give them objectives around that as well. So be really honest around that, and how you communicate your goals and objectives is something that's really important as well. Other things that I think work really well with internal communication is a newsletter. So I'm a bit of a traditionalist this way, that I still like the kind of traditional newsletter, which might go up in the staff areas, on the notice boards, etc. So not all businesses will have the luxury of having staff that are working behind a desk and at a PC or at a laptop. You'll have people that are working in production factories, manufacturing, warehouses, etc., who don't have access to these sorts of things as part of their day-to-day job. So a newsletter, I think, goes a long way. So that could either be emailed out, printed off, and put in the kind of key staff areas. And I still think there's a place for the internal newsletter. So that could be things around business updates, a message from the director or the management team, but also some fun stuff that's going on in the business as well. So if someone's recently got married, celebrate some success, if people have passed a course or a qualification, and then maybe just do something around getting to know the management team and getting to know the colleagues a little bit better. So there could be like a small Q&A in there as well. So that just builds up a little bit of kind of humour and trust within the organisation as well. If you are doing a newsletter and that's going out internally, it's important to remember anybody who's not in the business. So that might be any colleagues who are off long-term sick or are off on maternity leave. So it's important that they're kept in the loop as well. You might be promoting internal vacancies in your newsletter. So there's a whole range of things. So it's important that you do communicate that as well with people who are not in the business. And regardless of what you do in terms of the communication forums, whether it's newsletters, the videos, etc., whatever you're doing, is try and obviously make sure that is communicated right across the business, and anyone who's not in, as I said, is kind of still getting that same message as well. Other businesses are using things like kind of mobile tools, so where you have devices, smartphones, etc. There may be some really good apps on there that you're using. So again, depending on your business, that might be something that you want to try and consider to kind of implement in your organisation. So the world is changing. It's a smaller place now. We communicate very effectively across the globe. So depending on the type of business you are, you might want to kind of move to a kind of more mobile, kind of technology-based communication tool, and that's great. And obviously, as younger people are coming into the workforce, that's the kind of technology they've grown up with. But it's important to remember that not everyone engages and communicates that way. So it's finding a kind of balance for your own organisation. So hopefully that's given you kind of some good ideas around communication. You know, you at the moment are perhaps planning ahead for next year, looking at what you can do differently in your business from what you've done this year. So if communication is something you think you can improve on with your staff, then hopefully you've found this useful. If there's anything else that you're doing that I've not mentioned today, I'll also write a blog article which will go up on the website. So if there's anything else that I've kind of missed that you think is relevant, then please feel free to share it. So thanks again for watching, and until next time, see you soon.